Hey YouTube, Planet Aquarium MN, bringing you a quick update video today on all the tanks. Had some changes, had some bad luck and misfortune here this past week. Had some good luck and some positive things happening. You're looking at the Planet 75 high-tech tank right now. I'm not really happy with this tank at all. In fact, I'm extremely disappointed, almost embarrassed to put it on video. Really let this tank get out of hand, and I slacked a little bit on the maintenance. I just don't like the way it looks. Ever since I switched the scapes and went with the Dragonstone, the lava rock, I've just never been really happy with the scape. The potential is there, but what I ended up with is not what I envisioned when I bought that lava rock. A lot of it's my own fault because I really didn't spend a lot of time when I scaped it, and I really haven't put a lot of time into the tank. But decided to go with weapons up here in the front foreground. I pulled out all the Downoy. Actually, there's just like 2 crowns left. When I did my big trim on my Downoy, if you recall, I had the entire foreground just solid Pogostemon Hellfry. Pulled that out, and right after, when you disrupt your Planet tank that much and you pull out that much biomass, it's very easy for your tank to get out of balance. And mine did. And a lot of that Pogostemon Hellfry that I had, that I kept, it melted. And it's a pretty sensitive plant. It doesn't like to be moved around a lot, and it melted back. A lot of it did. So I pulled out, most of the remaining scraps that I had. I do have a couple crowns there. I'll probably yank that out too. I really like the Repens. I'm really starting to gravitate more towards a Repens carpet up here. I just like the looks of it. Sorry about the dogs barking in the background. Taking care of my son's dog while him and his wife are in Vegas this week, and it's been non-stop yappy, 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 yap. But I like the Repens. I like the color. I like how compact it stays. Now, this isn't compact, don't get me wrong. I just like how short and easy it is to maintain, really. But I like the looks. I like the structure of the leaves, the color, everything. Pulled out a bunch of Pogostemon erectus here. I did start some Rotala indica back over in this corner. Didn't really do too well. The light's too high on this tank, and if you've tried keeping Rotala indica under very, very high lighting, it likes to bend over and grow almost sideways and kind of scraggly. It doesn't really like that super high intense light that I have on this tank here. So I pulled that out, threw some more Pogostemon erectus over here, pulled some out in the middle, and threw a little more Blixa in over here. I just have too much of that Pogostemon erectus. But if you're looking for high tech and low maintenance, Pogostemon erectus is a good background plant. It's a beautiful plant, and it has a really soft appearance to it, which is why I like it. But it doesn't really grow super fast like most of your other stem plants. So it does like high light, and it does like CO2 like all these other plants here. But I just have too much of it in the tank, and it's looking pretty scraggly right now. Just did a major trim on this tank this past week, and it looks horrible in my opinion. Threw a little bit more aromatica back in here. I just have a hard time getting away from that plant. But my goal with this tank is to be as keep it high tech, high light, CO2, but do as little maintenance on it as possible, or have it as easy maintenance as I possibly can. That's my goal. Now, I kind of ruined it with the aromatica, because once that grabs hold and finishes adapting to my lighting and my CO2 and my water and whatnot, it's starting to come along a lot nicer. I just picked that up a couple weeks ago. That's going to need trimming every week, and that's the downside. Now, I did, when I dug around in my shrimp tank, I did find some Ranunculus inundatus in here. And I got a couple stems here, and there's a little piece floating around up here. I'm going to try and grow some of that Ranunculus back. I really like that plant. I kind of miss it being in here. It just adds a little different texture, especially in the foreground. But I really like the unique leaf pattern. But otherwise, the tank's really, really nice. Like I said, the maintenance I got off on the maintenance a little bit, slipped out of balance. Real easy to do on a high-tech planted tank. It's not easy to keep them balanced. You slack off, and it catches up to you real quick, but it's getting dialed back. Not hard to dial it back in at all, as long as you know what you're doing. But it's getting there. Thinking about maybe turning this into a 75-gallon planted Apisto tank. I've only kept Apistos once back in the early 90s. It's been a long, long time, and I can't even recall what type they were. It was just dwarf cichlids were the crave back then for me, and got a couple different types. Thinking about maybe turning this into a 75-gallon Episto and do some cockatoides in here. They can tolerate the water a little bit easier than some of the Agassiz and some of the others. But anyways, enough of that. Over here, I got the lights off on the Discus. They just shut down for their afternoon break. I break up my photo period in the afternoon. But I've been keeping my Ray 2s off. My female Penang eruption freaked out the other morning on me. And she went up and she hit the corner of one of my overflow boxes on my, that I use for my pre-filters for my wet dry, my sump system. Put a big gash in her forehead. So I've been keeping the lights subdued so things stay a little more calm in the tank and whatnot. I turn them on for feeding, but it's been 2 days. Her head's starting to, heal up real good. I took her out the other day, dabbed a little, hydrogen peroxide on there. Wound's healing up real nice. It's looking real clean. So not really concerned. I just don't want to stress her out any more than maybe she might be otherwise. So easy for secondary infections, whether to be a fungi or bacterial infection, to attack an open wound like that, especially if the fish's immune is a little bit weaker with stress. But down here in the wet dry sump, everything's going real well with this filter. Easy to keep spotless. I mean, this filter is just spotless clean right now. Did make some changes here in the refugium part. I did pull out a bunch of my Hygrophila polysperma, and I did pick up 7 plants of this water lettuce here. And I really like these water lettuce plants. They're so clean, and they just suck the nitrates out of water so readily. I bought 7 plants, and I've only had them in here for about a week and a half. Now, if you can see, maybe you can't see with this crappy camera, but I'm up to over 20 individual little plants right now, and I started out with just 7, albeit some of them are really small. But I think what I'll end up doing is pulling out all this Hygrophila polysperma, and that does a really good job in sucking up nitrates, as does any fast-growing stem plant. But this plant here can be a little bit more messier, a little more messy, and I'm trying to get away from the mess and the dead leaves and the broken leaves, because that's just going to add unwanted nutrients into the water column here. So I think I'm going to try and migrate everything, the refugium over to just water lettuce, and that'll keep it a lot cleaner, in my opinion. So anyways, I'm going to shut this down. Going in the back storeroom here where I've got a couple tanks. Had a little misfortune the other day. If you follow me on Instagram, you know what I'm talking about. My 75-gallon grow-out tank. I had my Dark Angel back here. Bought him at about 2.5 inches. He grew up in my planted 120 tank, but moved him out of there a while back because he was just such an ass to everybody. Just really harassed everybody else in there, and didn't back down from anybody. He jumped the tank, found him on my floor. Now, I know fish keeping rule 101, don't have an open top. It is what it is. Had an open top. He managed to jump out, but he measured 5 inches on the nose when I peeled his dry carcass off of the floor. That left me with 4 other discus in this tank, and I gave those to Brian at Dolly VH. There was a real nice blue snakeskin in there, but I just didn't have any desire to grow those remaining 4 fish out. It is what it is. But not really sure what I'm going to do with this tank. I'm thinking I'm going to drain it, empty it, dry it, clean it, and have it on standby. I was thinking about maybe starting up some Mabunas. I was thinking about maybe throwing a flower horn in here, maybe thinking about a Trimac, just all kinds of options. But for now, I think I'm going to shut it down and drain it and dry it, clean it, and just have it there. Because I see that the 37 I have over here, I see that as being a really decent size to breed discus. And I think maybe in another month or 2 I might throw one of the 2 pairs that I have, or the 2 pairs that have kind of paired off in the 120, throw them over there and throw a breeding cone in there, see if I can't pick up some wigglers and get some fry out of them successfully. And then after a while, if I end up with a bunch, transfer them over here to the 75 and grow them out in this tank here. Just something I've been thinking about doing, just another accomplishment, or another notch off the to-do list in my lengthy aquarium hobby. The 55-gallon shrimp tank coming along real nice. There's actually, believe it or not, a ton of baby red shrimp in here. red cherries, that is. Dolly VH, Brian was over the other night, and I mentioned that, and I looked down here and I couldn't really see any. I don't know if they're all, back here in the moss, the Taiwan moss and the Riccia. But after I did the rescape, all the females in here buried up instantly, and they're like constantly buried in this tank. Did lose a couple more of the crystal reds. Had 30 in here when I did the rescape, probably down to maybe 2 dozen now. I'm going to phase out of those for now, and just keep the Sakuras and painted fire reds and get a nice strong colony of those growing. Maybe sell some on Aquabid and maybe make some available in some contests here on YouTube. But yeah, so I'm going to duck out of the crystal reds for now, focus on the painted fire reds. If the crystal reds live and they hang on for a while, great. I'm not going to sell them or move them. They're going to stay in here. I think they're all females, to be honest with you. I don't see any males left in here. I haven't had a crystal red buried in a long time, and the only ones that I ever see are females. So it is what it is. But anyways, it's coming along real nicely. There are a ton of babies in there. They'll show up here pretty soon and start putting some size on. But anyways, yeah, lost that discus this past week. Unfortunate, but it happens. So anyways, that's that. That's the update. Back to where we started. These lights should be shutting down here for their afternoon break. I break my photo period up in the afternoon and give the plants a little rest period. Also helps prohibit algae growth too. Not sure if you've read that or seen that. Look it up on the Bar Report or the Planet Tank Network, or Planet Tank Forum rather. There you go, Planet Tank Network. Hey, sounds like a nice channel, a good cable channel. Anyways, that's that. Hopefully next time this tank will be looking a lot nicer. I appreciate everybody checking in and watching my videos. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. If you have any questions, comments, post them below. Like always, we'll catch you later.